There's a long history and a long story of how a small school in the Midwest ended up owning and managing their own marine biology station in the Florida Keys.
It's a one-of-a-kind opportunity for our college students, especially considering the context that we come from, cold, snowy Goshen.
We have a long 50-year history of a marine biology program at Goshen College, and this is a treasure. We have a real gem and a real opportunity here that we would be foolish to let go of for sure.
I'm proud of the program, whatever little part I had to play in it.
The city and the college grew up together, and I don't know that there's anybody in this town that lived here when the college wasn't here.
To have a research center here is just phenomenal.
It's not just the relationships that started the program, it's the relationships that keep the program going.
Halfway down the Florida Keys sits Long Key. This quiet spot in between the more touristy Isla Mirada and Marathon is home to the close-knit town of Layton. Founder Del Layton, a Miami grocer, envisioned this undeveloped land as an intentional community. Del expertly designed this sanctuary to provide an escape from the commercial and tourist settlements more common to the Florida Keys.
The city was made of land purchased by Del Layton back in, I guess it was the late 40s. And as time went on, Del did form the city in about 1963.
It was about 1940 when Mary and Del Layton decided to sell their grocery store business in Miami off of 7th Avenue and come to the Keys and just venture out. You know, they had been coming down every few weekends to fish. And it was my grandfather's passion, and my grandmother being the person she was, you know, she wanted his dream to come true.
They dug the canals and made the lots up. He was careful who he sold to. You had to be interviewed by him pretty much before he'd sell you a lot. And they were like $10 down, $10 a month that was paid off. And he was looking more for the blue collar type of a person.
There was nothing here. They brought in the fill and everything. There were no canals, no roads across the highway. This whole area where we are sitting is all fill that was brought in. Nothing was here, and so he was involved in all of it.
He donated the land for the firehouse and the city hall, and he got volunteers to help build it. He was the fire chief, in fact, for quite a while. He was also our local police officer. He even took one of his cars and parked it out on the street. There's no engine in it, but he painted it black and white. And so it's up and down the highway, people would see a police car, and so there'd be some presence of a police department at all times, and we still carry that through today. You'll see the sheriff's cars parked out there. We're located 15 miles from any kind of population center. We're located right in the middle of a state park, which he had a lot to do with having the state take it over as a state park.
The city's always been environmentally conscious, okay? We have a very large conservation area over here. We worked real hard to see that really wasn't developed. And that was my dad and a few partners, and one of our city attorneys helped get our city charter.
We have 150 homes here. We have right now we're about built out. We have about 11 vacant lots left to be built on. But of those 11 lots, maybe 4 or 5 of them are joining an existing home, and it'll probably never be built on. The people like the bigger yard. So we're not looking for any growth.
The challenge is keeping that small town family type community whenever we're having less and less year-round or all the full-time residents, I guess would be the way of saying it. Even though we have those few new families, and younger families even, that are coming in, but oftentimes those are the ones that can only stay for so long, and then they move on because of economics.
Because of our location here in Long Key, we're 15 miles from any kind of development. It's not a drawing card for people to come to develop. We're surrounded by a state park, so that's never going to be developed. And Dal just, part of his thing, we wanted to be a complete community. If he could have had an elementary school, grade school, high school, and a college, would have been exactly what he was looking for.
While Layton was developing into a town, a small college in Goshen, Indiana was searching for ways to provide experiential learning opportunities for its biology students. Little did Del Layton know, but in 1966, plans were set in motion that would give him the education facility he dreamed of having to complete his town.
The program started in 1959 when John Roth came from Oregon to Goshen College, majored in biology. Like me, went off to graduate school immediately thereafter, and as he's finishing graduate school, approached by Goshen College to come teach. John came to teach. After 2 years, he and Mary Ann decided, I don't know if I want to spend my life teaching at Goshen College. He actually tried to resign, and the dean wouldn't accept it. And so they gave him leave of absence. He came to Florida, to Miami, to the Rosenstiel School of Marine Biology, and spent a year studying marine biology.
We spent the year down there living on Key Biscayne in what amounted to a very small former little motel. But as we thought about things, we decided that there were many good things at Goshen College, many good people there, and many good students that we might continue to serve. And we made the decision that instead of staying for another year or two on the postdoc, we would come back to Goshen College. That spring, there were 10 of our upper class men, and at that time, I must confess, the science classes were probably 90% male. These 10 young fellows wanted to go and have an adventure during spring break. And so my fellow faculty member and former mentor, Dr. Frank Bishop, and I packed them up in 2 vehicles, and we headed on the road to Pigeon Key.
It was rustic. I mean, very rustic. No screens on the windows. Things falling out of the ceiling onto your bed at night and scurrying away. And I mean, it was pretty rustic.
There were mosquitoes, there were no-see-ums, little biting flies. There were termites that fell down from the ceiling at night and crawled over your bedclothes. And these guys had a ball. And they came back to Goshen College, and they had these beautiful specimens. They talked about all the adventures that they'd had. And the next year we had 25 students that wanted to go. And we made a change the second year. The first year it was all men. The second year of the 25, we had 2 young women. From that time forth, marine biology was always co-ed.
The marine biology program was the first of its kind for Goshen College. It provided an immersive learning opportunity for students and faculty alike. While the program was successful in its first year, it moved many times throughout its early years in search of a place to set its roots.
The research facilities begin with Pigeon Key. Pigeon Key, we were there 3 years, 66, 67, 68. But we moved from there because we found another place, 40 miles, a little more than 40 miles south on Big Pine Key, a place called Sea Camp, which was deluxe. It had air conditioning in some of the rooms. It had a big space we could use for a laboratory and cafeteria, and that was where we were until we moved up to Layton.
A chemistry prof from the college, Glenn Miller, was going to retire, and John Roth persuaded him to try the keys. And he said to John Roth, look, you persuaded me to try the keys. Now you owe me one. And what you owe me is to bring the Goshen students up to the Baptist church to sing on Sunday morning. When they came to sing here, Del Layton, who was still living at that time, discovered here are some clean-cut, good kids. They know how to sing. They come to church on Sunday morning. These are my people. And so he invited John and Frank to move their program from south of here to Layton.
When we got to Layton, that was a problem. Where were we going to do our research? Because when Del Layton laid out the idea of us moving up there, I asked about housing, of course, and then I said, but where will we work? Well, Del had the answer. He said, we'll use judges' chambers in City Hall for the laboratory. So we used judges' quarters for the facility, and then later, a couple years later, the owner of the motel converted a couple of cabins behind the main motel into a laboratory space for us. And so we had that then until the new laboratory in the current location was finished and dedicated in 1985.
With the long-term viability of the Florida Keys program in question, the college needed to find a permanent home. In 1982, Goshen College overcame that barrier by building their own facility in Layton, Florida, thus fulfilling the dreams of both John Roth and Del Layton. Breaking ground took longer than was expected. Though Del Layton donated one of the most sought-after plots of land in Layton, the college struggled to find the funds to build a facility. Eventually, the money came, and that facility serves marine biology students today, carrying on the legacy started by Goshen College professors John Roth and Frank Bishop. Del Layton finally had an educational facility for his town. Despite having health issues at the time, Del was able to attend the grand opening of the new marine biology station. Shortly thereafter, he passed away. But Del Layton would leave an indelible mark on his community and the hundreds of students who were to visit for years to come.
The fact that Goshen, a small liberal arts school, has its own marine biology station is rather stunning. When you add the fact that Goshen is nested within the middle of the country and the coastlines are quite distant, it becomes even more curious and unique that a place like Goshen has its own marine biology station. When Goshen College received the lot to build the J.N. Roth Marine Biology Station, it was a game changer. It was a very a fortunate opportunity for us. Given the fact that we have a facility nested down in the Florida Keys in a small town called Layton, where there's not a lot of other tourism and other large industry, we have access to the marine system in a very kind of idyllic way.
I spent my time, 37 years of going, had my adventures, and developed some very close friendships with some of the students as a result. And some of the students have continued to use it in unique ways. For example, Carl Weaver here at the high school went the third year at Pigeon Key.
As a teacher at Goshen High School, some years later I was telling a class about that experience, and they raised the question about a high school group doing that. And that's how we got started. Our experience in the Keys was just a week. It was much shorter with a high school group. In my opinion, there's no one that deserves to be honored for the marine biology program here that Goshen College has, and for being honored with naming of the facility than John Roth.
I'm proud of the program, whatever little part I had to play in it, and what's continued to go.
For over 50 years, Goshen College has continued the legacy of this experiential learning program in the Florida Keys. Students and faculty today are more excited than ever to have hands-on immersion in the marine world around Layton, Florida.
Beginning then in 2008, I began teaching the marine biology midterm class and began to become extremely fascinated with the diversity of creatures, the diversity of taxa, and ecological principles that I could begin to study with my students there. We are all living together, cooking together, eating together. Over lunch, we're sharing stories about what we saw, which penicillus we gathered in the field, what dolphins were doing at Channel 5 Bridge, how many octopus we gathered, those kinds of things. So we're kind of eating, breathing, and sleeping marine biology for those 3 weeks.
You know, like for 3 weeks, it's like you're actually learning from the time you get up to the time you go to bed.
Hearing that Goshen had this amazing program where you could go into the Florida Keys and would actually have hands-on personal research and interactions with all these creatures and learn about the ecology and the environment that go on in all these marine ecosystems was just an amazing opportunity, and I couldn't say no to it.
What I love about the trip as a whole is the opportunity to be in an environment that I don't get to experience every day. So the ocean is so unique and so unknown to someone like myself from the middle of the U.S. And so it's a fantastic opportunity to take a couple of weeks and be very intentional about studying out here, learning as much as I can, and going back and sharing the knowledge that I've accumulated with the people around me.
While the facility is great for sleeping and research, most of what we actually do in marine biology down there is we're out on the boats and in the mud flats and in the coral reefs and in the grass beds doing field work. So the facility gives us access to all those sites, but it's truly the splendor of the ecological system that draws students in.
The immersion that this setting provides is spectacular, and I'm a big believer in doing biology in the field and getting out into nature and experiencing it firsthand.
We don't have a lot of downtime because we feel like it's such a unique opportunity to be here. We want to soak it all up as much as we can in 3 weeks.
The diversity and amount of wildlife that I've been able to see and come across just blows my mind. We've seen sea turtles and manatees and pods of dolphins and nurse sharks, and it's been incredible.
I dove in the ocean the other day at the reef. It was amazing. It's a different life down in the ocean compared to the one we have on the terrestrial land.
Being able to dive down, scrape the floor, and then roll around on my back and look back up at the water above me, I think that's really a neat sensation to feel that I'm in the ocean and beneath the ocean and part of the ocean for as brief a time as it is. I think the marine biology program here at Goshen College is a fantastic opportunity for students from all walks of life to immerse themselves in a novel environment and something that they may not know much about, and to gain a broader appreciation of how the world works, how the natural world works, and how humans play a role in that functioning.
As an ecologist, I'm really fascinated and interested in the connections and relationships between creatures. However, what I'm also increasingly aware of is the social connections between different communities of human communities is also equally important to the scientific process. So the fact that we have a marine biology station in the Florida Keys, the fact that Goshen has been given this land to build a station, has been built on the relationships between people at Goshen and people who lived in Layton for decades.
When we built the building, or y'all built the building on the property that my dad and Del gave to Goshen College. The very first times down, there was a kinship that developed between the citizens, the church, and the college.
The best thing about the relationship with the community and the college students that come here, not only from Goshen, but I don't know how you pick them, but the other schools that have been here have just been excellent. By the gray hair you can see, we like to see young people around. And when you walk down the street, people wave at you and say hi, because it's just been a phenomenal relationship between the students and the population.
For as long as I can remember, they've been coming down. And when I would come and visit one of my grandparents when I still lived in Miami, many times during the summer, Goshen would be here, and it was so fun because the students would come and sing, and they would always do barbecues after church for them. They'd all come. I think that was their way of bribing them to sing, because it was always such a pleasure for us.
The city and the college grew up together. You know, it's Like again, I don't know that there's anybody in this town that that lived here when the college wasn't here.
I would personally like to know more about what, they're studying, what kind of work they're doing. I would like to be more involved with them even through the church like we used to be.
The Layton community, we're right in the heart of it, or at least in the heart of a good section of it. And so we definitely see people every day, whether it's just driving down or passing in boats. On Sundays, we have a unique opportunity to be able to go and attend the Southern Baptist Church that the Layton community is kind of based around. And something that I would look forward to is more interactions with the Layton community.
I know I can speak for here at our church. Every year, people look forward to, and usually at about, I don't know, February or so, March, people will start asking me, "Hey, are the kids going to be here this year to sing? And are they, are they going to be, are they going to be coming?" So they, it's something we look forward to.
The unique relationship between the City of Layton and Goshen College has allowed students to learn the importance of our marine ecosystems and to gain environmental awareness. The areas around Long Key offer the opportunity to study a variety of marine systems while being away from more popular tourist and fishing areas of the Keys.
We are living on one complex, interconnected planet. And so what marine systems do is they demonstrate to us that our behaviors in the Midwest of the United States, in terms of how much energy we're utilizing via coal production, spewing carbon dioxide into the air, the oceans all across the planet are absorbing that carbon dioxide. And so when a student goes down and starts snorkeling in the Florida Keys and becomes enamored with the coral reefs and the fish diversity, and then here's a lecture from the Fish and Wildlife Service saying, by the way, coral reefs will not be around for your kids probably, or definitely not for your grandkids, because of climate change. The acidification of the oceans is leading to all kinds of coral bleaching events, and we're losing our coral systems. But that's not because of what people in the Florida Keys are doing. That's because of what we as a global community all across the planet are doing.
Looking at the world around us and how everything is so interconnected, it's impossible to not see just how important and how integrated the marine system is into our entire existence as a planet. There are so many parallels between things we see in the terrestrial realm and the aquatic realm. To be able to see that the things that we do have global implications is something that I think is really, really important. To not forget about the world of water right at our fingertips, because that's going to be just as important as anything that we see here on land.
Once I learned that this place could disappear in about 50 years, that sort of made me realize we need to do something about it. So perhaps what are ways that we can understand those patterns of human behavior in societies to benefit the environment instead of devastating it?
One of the things that we've been able to do here is try to limit the ecological footprint that we kind of have. And one of the ways we've been doing that is by conserving water by as much as possible. And so we limit ourselves to shorter showers and 1 shower a day. We have a freshwater rain basin that we wash our things in, realizing and remembering that even the little things you do can make a difference, especially when many people are doing these little things, is something that this course has helped to remind me of.
As a global community, how our behaviors as the human community are influencing natural systems. We're really finding that it's not only important that we help our students understand their relationships with the natural world, but the relationships we have with our research colleagues is also opening up some new opportunities for us. One thing we're really excited about is a semester-long collaborative program that we're developing with Old Dominion University. And Old Dominion University students and Goshen College students will be able to stay for an entire semester down in Florida, where they can complete an internship with a local marine organization, do a research project, and take several classes. And we really think Del Layton would be proud of that development. So in that regard, I think we really look forward to continuing to grow with the Layton community and perhaps offer another 50 years of marine biology education.